Everybody, go ahead and call the meeting to order. It is 12:01 p.m., July 2nd. We do have all members of the EDC board being present: Mayor Molina, Pro Tem David Torres, ECISD trustee Mr. Farias, and Ms. Sonia Enriquez. We have Mr. Aaron Vela sitting in with us today, and we'll jump right into it. Aaron, was the meeting posted in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act?
According to the documents, yes, the meeting was posted on the 20th of June at 5 p.m.
Thank you, sir. We'll go straight into this. Number 3, discuss and consider ratifying the proposal agreement with Millnet Architectural Services for the Edinburgh Economic Development Corporation El Tule project. These are the 3 gyms that we're going to bring to Sprague and 18th Street. Is it 18th Street? We're ready, guys, whenever you all are ready. Can't hear him.
Yeah, is it on?
Is your mic on?
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, there you go. Okay.
This is Ramon Villalobos. He's going to be handing out on paper, but we're also going to have it on the computer as well, the presentation. We basically are bringing you 3 site plan layouts to see which one you're more interested in going with. Of course, one of them offers you the most free space so that you can use it in the future for added features to the park. And then we'll go over the floor plans that go with each one. What's this one? Okay. This is the site. I think the demolition has already occurred, so it's an open site at this point. And these are the 3 layouts. Type B offers you the most land that you can use in the future. Type A kind of quadrants it off. So if you want to do different things and section them off, this would be the one to follow. And then type C just gives you a more square area, but really B is the one I think that gives you the most land that you can utilize in the future. The type A is actually probably the cheapest because structurally it's got the least width. For the 3 basketball courts, then we have, of course, the lobby entrance, the concession stand, the hallways to lead to them, some offices, and then the restrooms over here. We do have bleachers on either end. They could be also subdivided, and right now the bleachers, we're only talking about small bleachers, so we need to, I guess, get more direction on how many you want as far as spectators and stuff like that. Type B similar, it's just that this is off to the side, and it concentrates it a little bit more with the 3 basketball courts. You want to go over? Okay. And again, you have the lobby. You have this time the concession stands here. Your restrooms are inside the lobby instead of being off the basketball courts like the other one.
The A is the cheapest.
Mm-hmm. The mechanical room.
What?
There's a multi-purpose room off here to the side.
One thing that I noticed on all 3, there's no barrier, there's no wall, there's no partition, there's nothing separating the courts, and that was one of our main concerns when we got multiple teams playing. One referee blows his whistle and the kids on the other court stop in their tracks because the whistle carries and echoes throughout the gym. Is that not on any of these?
No, but we can bring it in, and actually it would be structurally it would help us because it lets us use interior columns.
That's a must.
So that would actually be a benefit to us.
Well, that's a must
Okay.
right off the bat.
Yeah. And also the bleacher count, I think we need a little more direction. If you're going to have spectators on both sides, or is one side the way we have it, okay. And then, of course, we could add bleachers on this one over here. But yeah, the partitions would probably go here, and that allows us to do shorter spans on your structure.
Go to Court A. I think that's the easiest.
Yeah. Yeah, this
Right.
one would just be down
Right.
the middle, and also would allow us to put some
Right.
columns.
And
this-
we would
this
need
way.
bleachers on each,
On this side and this
right,
side,
on both sides of that new wall there.
for both of them.
And they don't have to be 10 steps high, you know, we can do like 4 or 5 steps.
Yeah, if you keep it under, there's a height limit, but if you keep it under 30, you don't have to do the yearly reviews that the schools do.
Okay?
That's the only thing, and because it's hard for, the kids won't fall through it and all that.
Right.
Once you go over 30 inches, then you have to do yearly reviews just to make sure they're still maintained safely and all
Yeah,
that.
and you're gonna
So-
have elementary kids sitting on those bleachers waiting for the next game to come, and they're always horse playing.
Yeah, so the
My mom Molina
lower,
used to like knocking people off the bleachers, waiting for their next game, so
so, and I think
that's a
that,
true story.
yeah, no, and I think the ones that are drawn here are the 30 inches, so you get like four tiers.
Right.
So they're still seat enough people. Yeah, and this is probably the most cost-effective and the easiest one to add those walls. And I'll just go over the last one, which is similar,
Right.
and so,
Mr. President, I'd like to add something to this real quick.
Go ahead, Mayor.
As you know, we have events. We have a Christmas party that we host every year, and we're not able to get the staff into the activity center. I would also like to see if this is something that multi-purpose, maybe the city manager can look over it to, if need be, maybe even make this into some type of event place where we can cover the wood floors or whatever and have events there, because I know that was part of the plan that we did at the Parks and Rec facility. It was just never executed. But they talked about the square footage and that you were able to get at least 1,000 people in there seated. I don't know if that's another option that we can also look at, kind of kill two birds with one stone, have an event center if need be, and basketball courts. In other words, you can cover that.
yeah, and depending on the size, and we have to study it for the size of the number of people, you might want to make one of the walls movable, so you open it up to courts.
That was my
for
next
that.
question, if I may, Mayor. Coach Garza, I know at BL, in the health rooms, we had those collapsible partitions. Do you think that would be thick enough, something like that, to drown out that whistle noise instead of a set wall? You know, that way we can open it up and have the big facility that... You want to come to the mic, Coach, so we can put you on the record?
Yes, sir. I think that'll be a good idea. Currently, we have the curtains at our facilities right now.
Right.
You can still hear the whistle on all sides, but if you want to bring down the price, I would think that'd be a logical way to go. Yes, sir. And also, looking at the bleachers, that's to me, it's not enough bleachers there. Yeah, on both sides, really, on all of them, because that's one of the things that we have pending there at our facilities right now. It's a beautiful facility, but it's not enough room for the parents to sit down, because a lot of parents come out to see their kids play. A lot of them are standing around, just
Right.
you know. So that's not. And another thing that I noticed here, maybe some office space, so we can have. Is that multi-purpose room?
Yeah, and then we just have-
Cut it in
Oh, there
half.
they are. I see them.
Yeah.
I need my glasses. I can't see that. But
So, Coach,
yes, sir.
the facility right now that we don't have enough bleachers at, those are 4 steps up, or how big are those?
They're 3 steps up.
3 steps?
3 steps, Lou, right? Yeah, they're 3 steps up. And we need more than that.
At least 5, right?
At least.
At least 5, or
At least
double it
5.
to 6.
Across the whole gym.
Yeah,
Across the-
and maybe, like you have them here kind of in a little corner, string them out all the way
I
across
think
the
all
gym. you know?
84 feet,
Right.
all 84 feet of the gym
Right.
would be good, yes. Yes, sir.
I think format A would be the easiest to implement everything that we're looking for. B, the way you have that other court going vertical compared to the 2 horizontal, I understand that you're trying to fit them in, but it just doesn't work because, I mean, I know that's the smallest. If you go back to the first page, 23,418, that's the smallest. Oh, no, yeah, it is. But because we grouped them like that, I don't really, I mean, me personally, I don't like that setup. Yeah, to save 400 square feet, I don't think, to turn the court like that, you know, it's, yeah.
It's not working.
And then type C, on your C rendering here, if you're playing on court 3, you're gonna have to cross all those areas to get back to the
Yeah.
concessions and stuff like that. So I think type A knocks everything out and it spreads it all out, and it looks most feasible for what we want to accomplish.
Yeah, all 84.
And the space that you have on the green sheet here with those, the way you separated those extra areas into 3. Are all A, B, and C, are all those the same number of parking spaces? Or do you have a number of parking spaces on each one? If you could throw that number out, please.
No, not at this time.
No?
We just-
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, I like A because of the way you separate that. But then again, you have this little cross of traffic where
Well-
kids are gonna be,
Now, the site plan can be modified. We can take that module of A and put it into B or C
right,
as
or
far as...
C, yeah. I would like module A in C.
In C.
That way you keep the traffic away from the future playscape, because if we got a playscape here and then we throw something out here on these other quadrants, and then, hey, the coach comes out and says, hey, we're next, and the kids are out there and they just see coach and they take off, well, you're crossing streets here.
Yeah.
And we don't need anything like that.
Okay.
Type C kind of keeps everything on one side, and then you have all this open area to picnic and stuff. Mike, I heard you say something.
Yes, I just wanted to make a comment. You're correct as far as liability is concerned with the children running back and forth, but then also, I really like how the facility is facing Veterans Boulevard. And that's very important, because that is the most visibility that we're going to get. That's the most traffic that goes through there. So as far as that's concerned, I would suggest for it to definitely, like, type C, it's facing, a Sprague, but Veterans Boulevard is where you have all the traffic. It'd be great if you could just go ahead and center there, so when people pass by, they see this beautiful thing. And just for looks and also for visibility and people knowing, wow, there's something new, and facing it that way. And it's really symmetrical. I like the way it is in type A.
So basically taking the way it is situated with the entrance here, putting it there,
Yeah.
still facing
Right.
veterans.
With the entrance of facility type A to the west. What do you think, Coach?
Yeah. Think that'd be the way to go?
Mr. President, I have a question.
Yes, ma'am, go ahead.
Is there possible, the only thing that I would have a question for you, is there a way to move the facilities as far as the restrooms for the boys and girls a little bit closer into the lobby area and not so much far to the outside of the edge of the building?
Yeah, we can flip it. What are these two?
That's the storage.
Or is there a
Oh,
way
yeah.
to flip the
Yeah,
equipment and
we-
mechanical room to the
we
edge?
We can flip it, and that would put the mechanical and the storage, which are not that vital, further away from the lobby. So we can flip it and do that.
I'm just saying because when children are coming through the lobby, the first thing sometimes, before they go to their games, it might be good that it's in the closer area facility
Yeah.
for them.
In other words, we can rotate it, and they can access through the lobby, similar to the other one, and then the storage and the other one will flip over. So similar to what you see in B, where you're accessing it through the lobby, but keep the A configuration. We can do that, that's not a problem.
Mr. President,
Yes, sir.
if I could just... The other
Restrooms here, and just access.
concern or desire that we have, as the mayor stated, was to have it used for other purposes. And I know that according to exits dictates the amount of occupancy. Can you make sure that we can maximize the occupancy? If it's just going to be adding 1 or 2 extra exits, it's a minimal cost for the occupancy to make sure that we can go ahead and do that, so we can get the maximum
Like right here?
capacity use of this place. It has quite a few exits, but can you just double check that to see if maybe, as far as the square footage, the exits are, they're very important, especially the double exits. They
Yeah,
really
like
add
those
up.
single doors could go to double, and that gives
It
you a lot
just-
more people. Yeah.
Yes, and it's a minimal
Cost,
cost for the extra occupancy.
yes.
Yeah, good point, Mike. That would be perfect going back to your type A scenario here, the front of the building would be facing west, so we could throw an exit on the north and the south side also. You know, that way, because if you put it into type C's parking lot here, this parking lot that's on the south will need an entrance on the side, since the main entrance will be in the front.
Yeah.
And then, of course, in the back where you have parking, and then we'll throw one out towards Champion Street. That way, any issues arise, you know, you don't have people bum rushing the two doors on the east side, and they can have exits all over.
Yeah.
Good point, Mr. Farias, thank you.
Yes.
David,
Good. I like all your suggestions.
you ready to lace it up? Getting his Reebok pumps on.
Ready to get started.
Any other questions, comments, anybody?
Looks good.
Looks good, I mean, just some minor changes.
Yeah, no, and I know this is it says an action item, but I don't believe we're gonna take any
They're
action.
going to submit another proposal, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
They're gonna submit another proposal. Yeah, so let's, all these things that we mentioned, kind of try, have a final draft for us, and you'll get with Aaron and knock out everything on the contract, make sure that we're on the same terms on that, and we'll go from there. We're not gonna take any action on this, but that's where it's at. So if you wanna visit with us again and kind of, okay, and make sure we get everything, because I already tore up all your notes here with the circles and everything. So we can get with it and get the numbers right. That's a big thing. I know you're the second ones that have had a crack at this project. And we had a real strict budget that we were looking at, and we didn't want to go over a certain number, and the first guys were way out of the ballpark, and they came back a second time, and they were still out of the ballpark, and then we ended up, hey, you're just wasting our time, and now you're here. So we want to knock this out as fast as we can, because we're already behind on things that we want to do. But the sooner the better. So as soon as you can get with Aaron, knock out the numbers, and get us instead of 3, just get us the one that it's going to be, and so we can move on it. Because one of the things we love to do is have groundbreakings.
Sounds good.
Anything else? All right, thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate
you.
you all taking your time and coming out here.
Thank you.
We'll move on to number 4, discuss and consider the design charrette regarding the EDC El Tule project with Milnet. We knocked that out too, right?
Right.
Okay, we got that one, those were. And number 5, discuss and consider the design regarding the EDC development of North Park with Mr. Isael Posadas.
Good afternoon, Mr. President, members of the board. Isael Posadas with SDI Engineering. I've got a short presentation. This is the third presentation we've made on this. We did have a groundbreaking last week, and at that groundbreaking, we showcased the design that was originally, or after several iterations, had been proposed. And then at that event, we also talked about some other possibilities, and so I was asked to come back to the board and see what other things we could do in trying to maximize our space. So that's what I'm going to try to do today with you. Of course, the park is located on the southwest corner of Rogers and southbound Expressway 281, right at this location, right off the Boys and Girls Club area. Now, this is what was presented at the last meeting that the board said could work. And this is what's been presented. Now you'll notice we have, you'll notice we've got the softball park, which can also be a t-ball, can also serve for t-ball and other teams. It's a competitive-sized softball field for middle school and high school. It's got, of course, restroom with concessions, and a basketball court, and a playground and parking areas as part of the Phase 1. But we also wanted to make sure that we planned, and also this practice football field, which can be utilized for practicing soccer or football. So one thing we also wanted to do in master planning this is leaving space for instance, a splash pad right in here, and also a future skate pad. This one is very similar to the one that's located in Los Fresnos. And the splash pad, it follows the design that we've been doing here in the city, and I think 2 more under construction at this time. But since then, well, one of the things that was noted at the last meeting is, can we add some more items? And let's see what we could add. And so what we did is we reconfigured it a little bit. For one, the restrooms, because we want to prepare for the future and having a splash pad, these restrooms could not accommodate, these were just regular restrooms with concessions. We needed changing areas for the splash pad area, very similar to what you guys are currently, or the city is currently doing at their other facilities. So this follows that design. In addition, and I'll keep going back and forth a little bit, so you can see we added an area, we added for future parking. One of the suggestions, especially having our experience at Vacker Park, was that it doesn't seem to be enough parking ever. So we needed a plan to make sure that we could, in case we had a community event, there'd be areas to park. This being off the expressway, certainly don't want people parking off the expressway to come into the park. So we moved over the practice field a little more to the north, and we were able to fit additional future parking as a phase 2. The other thing we did here, the difference is we're making accommodations for things like the splash pad. For instance, if we don't have the funding at this point for the splash pad in phase 1, we're going to want to include utilities extended out there, since we're going to do all the groundwork. We don't want to come back and tear up a lot of the things that we've got planned or already in place. So what we are also doing is preparing our routes based on a location that was necessary, for instance, the pump equipment. So that trail had to change a little bit in order to plan it a little bit better. And right in this area here, it was suggested that we have a fitness court. Now, this fitness court here, these dimensions about 20 feet by 56 feet. The typical fitness court that we've seen, for instance, in Brownsville is 32 by 35. So in order for us to get the same square footage configured differently, we made it this size here. And the other thing you'll notice is everything we're doing that includes structure or steel, we're doing it outside of this red area, which is that easement that really limits our ability and use of the property. Now, we can have parking. That's why we show the future out here. We can have the trail. That's why it comes out here. And we can have this practice field. But here we're thinking fitness court, again, the skate pad and the splash pad, all in these areas. And, of course, the playscape. The playscape that we've got proposed, very similar to Vacker Park. This is a picture of one. These are the restroom facilities. Again, has a concession area, and then it has these family rooms for changing, including a changing station right in here. Of course, it would be an open-air basketball area, the way it's currently slated. And this is a picture of the Los Fresnos skate park. Now, these are high-dollar items. I think at the time that they did this, is about $250,000 is what was spent, but that was about 7 years ago, 6 or 7 years ago.
That's nice.
South Padre Island just opened bids on theirs, which is about half the size of this, came in at over $400,000. And I think they're rejecting bids right now, is what we understand. And, of course, the splash pad. This is similar to the type that I think are being installed throughout the city. And then finally, this is an example from the company that does these fitness areas with all the fitness stations along here. This is similar to what's installed in the Brownsville area.
It's going to have it all.
It's got the room to have it all. And the way we're master planning it is make sure that we extend conduit, power, wherever we're going to need to, so that when we do install it, we don't have to go back and tear out landscaping, irrigation, things like that. We plan it, we have it there. It may be as simple as putting in the pad, the concrete pad, forming the pad, and electricity will be there. It'll be run to the controllers for the irrigation system, for the lights, things like that. So, of course, we get to cost. Phase 1, what was presented at the last meeting, June 4th, was about $1,071,000. That's everything, construction and all the soft costs. It's been modified a little bit to $1,147,000 to accommodate those additional utilities. That's why it's got the little asterisk. Now, this is a budgetary figure. This does not take into account the opportunity that we may have to have the city do some of the work. For instance, some of the fill. For instance, some of the parking areas, some of the curb and gutter through some of their contracts. So this is just budgetary figure if we were to go and outsource all of it to a private contractor. We don't want to assume anything just at this point. And of course, these are, I'm not going to say they're too conservative, but they're in the ballpark, pardon the pun. Phase 2, the splash park, skate park, parking lot, irrigation, and drainage improvements, about $906,000. These are high dollar items. For instance, the splash parks, you're running about $370,000 right now. The skate parks, like I said, anywhere from $250,000 to 6 years ago with the cost of what South Padre just had. We're not going as high as that, but we're staying to around the $300,000 range for budget. And then the parking areas. What I've given you is a detailed cost estimate. I know the last time Mr. Farias asked that we provide a more detailed cost, so we're giving you what we've done as a work in progress. So between the two phases, a $2 million facility, $2,054,000. Let me see if I have anything else. Nope, that's it.
Go back to the big, I'm sorry, Mr. President, if I may.
Go ahead, Mike.
Go back to the big picture. There you go. Like you said, it has it all. And it's a sizable investment, but the return that I see in something like this is so many families are going to be using and participating and being out there because there's nothing out there right now. And as far as the parking, it's hard to compare the parking here to Vacker, because at Vacker you have 3 or 4 baseball, softball fields, and they're having games back to back.
Correct.
So that's part of the issue with the parking is you've got 6 teams playing at the same time, and then you got them back to back. So they're there before the game, after the game. Here you got one where you're not going to have 6 teams playing at once. And as far as the parking is concerned, and as far as the football field, I mean, do you always need 7-on-7 or soccer or whatever the case could be on something of that nature? And because when my kid was playing ball, I had to take him to McAllen to go play 7-on-7 because we had nothing here. So this is encouraging. But the splash pad, I'm sorry, you pass by a splash pad and every single one of you wish you could go over there and get in your bathing suit and get under that water when it's 100 degrees outside. And my wife always says, thank the mayor for the splash pad. He turned on the water. I mean, it's amazing. Now, everybody can come and enjoy instead of going to Fiesta, Texas, instead of going to different places. They can stay in Annenberg and enjoy beautiful things like that. So,
For free.
yes, it's amazing.
That's one thing I learned coaching. I mean, you take the soccer team out to CC's Pizza after the game, and they've never been to a buffet.
Yep.
And they'll never go again if they're not part of the team. So you're talking about families that'll never go to Fiesta, Texas.
Yep.
You know, this is their summer,
Yep.
and they take the kids every single day. So it's beautiful that we can put it out there towards the north. So I know this isn't an action item, and I know we've been here already, Isael, so let's get it done.
Sure.
No more meetings. We're not going to see you up here anymore.
Except at the bid opening, right? Except at the award and stuff like that. One thing, the fitness court is not in your estimate, by the way. We did not include that in the estimate because we didn't have enough information. We've since received it. I think Coach Garza, or Mr. Garza advised us it's around $120,000 to $130,000 for the equipment, if I'm not mistaken. About $120,000 to $130,000 for the fitness court, the equipment and things like that, all the amenities that go with that. Correct.
That's the splash pad?
The fitness
The
court.
Oh, okay. We don't have one yet, anywhere.
No, sir. We had applied for a grant. We got $100,000 with that grant. The money will be in December, and hopefully we'll install it right next to the splash pad in Municipal Park. And at the same time, one of the the programs that they have, which is that fitness campaign, is we're allowed to go ask for donations from local hospitals and stuff. I already spoke to Mario Liscano. Maybe we can get something going with them. He said, let's talk about it. Hopefully, they can bring some money into the table as well to help out with the fitness campaign there at our North Park as well. Yes, sir.
Great. Anything else?
My only thing is with all these extra items and so forth, and I know we're gonna do it, and you're gonna keep us in budget. We just gotta stay within the budget that we started with from the very beginning. So as things and the good ideas come up, we gotta keep that in mind. It's first and foremost.
And like, for instance, the splash pad, I think that's an eligible CDBG type of thing for future years if you wanted to do it in the next phase, or depending on the bid. The way we wanted to do this was design it all, put them as ad alternates, and see what kind of bids we can get. There may be real opportunities here to save on something like this, especially since you're building others in other places in town. We can take advantage of that. That's what we'd like to do.
Does IDEA have a softball or baseball field?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Anything else? All right. Thank you, Mr. Posadas. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. Those opposed, same sign. Meeting adjourned. It's 12:32. Thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate all y'all coming out and letting us know.